This is the Lockpicker 1969, and welcome to my channel, and welcome to the next episode of Interview with a Lockpicker. Today's guest is EvenFluurrr. Say hello, EvenFluurrr.
Howdy, y'all.
So, what country are you from?
Well, I'm from New Zealand. Probably can tell a little bit that this is not my real accent. I like to kind of play around with accents a bit in my videos, though.
Yeah,
But
yes, you do. So, what does your handle or your name actually mean?
well, it's kind of funny. One of my favorite things is to actually see people pick up on it because usually the '90s kids and the '80s kids will get it pretty quickly. It comes from a song by the band Pearl Jam, Even Flow. But
Uh,
singer Eddie Vedder has a very particular way of singing, and he go even floor. So I was just listening to even flow when I made my username, and it just stuck. I didn't. If I had realized that would have been the name I picked forever, I would might have thought of something differently. But
oh, jeez.
it stuck.
Okay, so how and when did you get into locksport?
It was just about a year ago, a little over a year ago. It was here in New Zealand. We did some pretty heavy lockdowns for COVID. We were COVID free for nearly 2 years. But when it first started, kind of pretty much we're staying inside 24/7, other than to get essentials. So I kind of realized that I needed a hobby that, funny enough, I wanted one that would keep me away from technology and the computers and all that. But all this has done is just made me spend more time on Discord and talking with the community, which,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I figured, hey, I'd kind of seen some stuff in some moody TV shows and video games and things like that. So I kind of really was interested in figuring out how does this all actually work. I play the game Hitman a lot. I love that game, and it's always just very simple how that's done. And there was a show called White Collar, I believe, where he's always picking locks. So I said, okay, how realistic is this? Because that seems a
Yeah.
little too simple.
Yeah.
So I just started researching and looking into stuff. And the more I saw videos, getting on YouTube, um, lock picking lawyer, saw some of his stuff, and I found said, I'm gonna buy a kit. Um, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself either, because I know I'm sure you got some questions.
Oh, sure. So, who would you say was the most influential for you on YouTube?
Um, Originally, I'd say lockpick and lawyer was the most influential. That was kind of the person who got me started, and I think that's the case for a lot of people. And then as I start to grow with the community, and meet more people, I think HV Logic's video, an Australian YouTuber, great guy. Watching his stuff and just seeing how good he is at explaining everything that's going on and having fun with it. When he gets frustrated, he'll let you know, and it's kind of funny to see him get mad sometimes, which I'm sure he'll love me saying. Um, but he just it shows that there's a lot to the hobby, and there's a lot more going on than just kind of raking a couple of locks. He really shows a good diversity of projects, even those weird French locks with the kind of uh, I don't know how PG we keep this chat, but they look like a certain hole of the back side, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
Um, and just the weirdest stuff. So I kind of enjoyed watching that and seeing the diversity and the different stuff you could do with lockpicking. So I think HV really got me more interested, and a super good mentor as well.
Okay. Great. So, you mentioned something to me about how you had become less impressed with the lockpicking lawyer. Can you go into that a bit?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think most people get really interested, and you look up lock picking videos on YouTube, he's going to pop up almost every time as the first
Yeah.
thing. So I'll definitely give him credit for that. But then watching him, especially through his company with covert instruments and
Mm-hmm.
things like that, I started to see that a lot of what he's selling is very much marketed to what I like to call the mall ninja group, the people who are just not really interested in learning proper techniques. They're not interested in learning about the locks. They want it because it's cool, it's neat, and a lot of this stuff he's selling isn't just basic tools for single pin picking, but stuff that you can use to break into your local 7-Eleven or what have you.
Mm,
So it felt like it was mall ninjas and criminals that were his main focus. So he's both selling to people who are going to make the sport look bad in terms of criminals, and could lead to legislation and making things illegal, which is going to hurt the sport, and kind of also selling to the group that's a little bit more malleable, and you're able to kind of trick them because they don't really know what they're looking for yet, but they see that this famous YouTuber sells it, so it must be the best the best thing there is. So I feel like he plays a little bit too much with the uh, uh, naivety of the group, and doesn't really kind of enforce the same values that I really enjoy with the lock sport community. So yeah.
okay. So, in your journey in getting into lock sport and learning how to pick, what would you say was your breakthrough in your learning journey?
Ooh, it was what is it? The Lockwood 10-10-40, I believe. Oh my god, I can't remember the brand of it. Yeah, Lockwood 10-10-40. That one, it's the one we tell all of I'm in the Australasian lockpicking community, and every time we have someone come in who's brand new, we tell them to get the 10-10-40 and the 334 as kind of the good step up ones. And every time people would come in, they'd be like, "I just got one from Briscoe, like the Home Depot in America, and I got this, and I picked it open in 10 minutes, and it took me 6 weeks. It drove me crazy trying to get this lock open, and eventually was like, I got to the point where I was like, maybe it's just I can't do it. So yeah, it's just really frustrating, but the community was there. I'm losing the accent now. Got to go back to it. The community was there, and they helped me through it, and they really walked me through and kept making videos and kept doing everything. And when I got that thing open, it must have been one in the morning in New Zealand. We still had like a party on the Discord for like 4 hours, just celebrating and posting gifts, and it just made me feel so special. I love those guys.
Okay. Well, I'm going to come back to a little bit more about the community in a moment. But so you started up your YouTube channel. Can you tell me about what got you started on your YouTube channel?
Originally, I just needed a place to post the videos, mainly to get feedback from other people. Well, there's probably about 20, 30 videos that are now private that people can't even see, just for just me fumbling terribly. Not that I don't fumble terribly in the public ones sometimes too, but it was just kind of posting stuff. And then I watched how other people like HV and others did it, and I kind of really enjoyed seeing how they could show their progression and showing all the locks they had picked. And so I kind of started doing that, and I noticed there was a trend on YouTube of kind of ridiculous video covers of people making crazy faces and red circles, and you'll never believe how they open, just the kind of spammy titles and stuff. So I started kind of just making fun of those a bit with, just random red circles, circling nothing as my screen page or things like that. And then I made a video for a challenge of, I think it was HV's actually. He wanted people to show off their locks. And realized that was the first time I'd have to actually talk on video, and I wasn't really comfortable with that. So I just started doing every possible accent I could do, and they enjoyed it. So I figured, maybe I'll do some ridiculous accents and ridiculous covers and just have fun with it.
Little entertainment.
Yeah, it is. I love picking the locks, then I love making the videos. They're both equally entertaining for me, actually. So I get to usually have a little bit of gin or something before I make the videos, and
so
just go crazy with it.
You went from something that you weren't sure you wanted to do to finding something that is a nice outlet and creative outlet for you.
Exactly, that's exactly what it is. I have so much fun with it, and other people seem to enjoy. I'm sure I drive some people nuts, and they're going, "Oh, damn it, it's that Flair doing that Southern voice again." Doesn't sound like it at all. He's an idiot. But if it makes one person laugh, then
It's
I'm
worth it.
happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So going back for a second to your when you got into lockpicking, what was your first set of lockpicks?
Well, I got lucky, because thankfully with the lockdowns and all the stuff and international shipping being so crap, I went to buy one of those cheap Amazon sets and it was sold out.
Ah.
And I go, okay, it was one of those things. Click here and you'll be alerted when one comes into sale or whatever. So I clicked that, waited, and the next morning I'm like, why is this thing so cheap? So I started doing a little bit more research, looking at things, and I found PickPal's Australian website. And again, I was like, that's so crazy how much more expensive this stuff is. And I eventually said, you know what, I got a bit of money right now because I was, doing good work I'm lucky enough to keep a job throughout the lockdowns and stuff. So I said, I'm just going to treat myself to something. So I went and bought kind of one of the basic Salford sets originally.
Okay.
And then about 5 hours later, I emailed them and I said, hey, can I actually change that to the advanced Salford kits? I got like the 21-piece Salford set. And still don't use all of those, but a lot of them I don't.
A lot of fluff.
A lot of fluff, but I was very glad I didn't get the Amazon set. That would have done me nothing good at all.
Definitely. So you mentioned about your work. So what do you do for a living?
I work in education, both secondary and tertiary.
Okay.
So kind of, I don't want to say too much, to be honest, but I work in education. I mean, some people know what I do, but I don't want
that's
coworkers to
not a problem. That's understandable. So you started out with Salford, and you had quite a bit to pick from, literally. So did you stay with Salford, or did you move to something else, or?
Yeah, so that was originally. I really like the Salford. I still feel like they're good picks, so I don't want to seem like I'm trashing them. But the more I kept watching other videos, and I go, oh, what is that pick? That looks really cool. So that was kind of one of the problems with my first probably 6 months of picking, is I bought way too many picks. I got a little bit ridiculous. I have a picture somewhere of a picture.
Too many picks. Too many picks and not enough locks.
Yeah, exactly. So thankfully I got one of the Moki rolls, so I can fit most of them in there. But I got about 4 or 5 cases. But anyways, answering the question, so I kind of went. The next thing I went on to was the multi-pick locks. I got a set of those. I got some LLTs. Those are I really like LLTs.
Yep.
Multi-picks, those are really good. And then we have a heck of a great guy named Bare Bones in Australia.
Yep.
And he started coming along, I believe, because I obviously wasn't there from the full start, but I think around the time that I joined was when he started kind of launching up, and he kind of bought some of those original ones, and I was like, wow, these are, for the price you're paying for these, it's amazing how the good quality. And just I did a video probably about a month or 2 ago of these handles he has that look like real jawbones, and to see where he came in just a year is amazing. So I mean, and he still keeps such good prices, and the quality's even getting better. So I think I'm pretty much a bones, convert now. I got a whole bunch of other picks though, so I kind of do switch around. But I like my bones.
Me too.
I still have one Salford pick that I love from that original set, but just kind of see where that's the one good thing. I always have options.
Yeah, I'm partial to the Salford short hook. So.
Yep, I love that's my baby.
With the foam handle on there.
Yep,
that you have to cram on there, but putting a little dot of 3-in-1 oil at the end, and then push.
No one told me that until like 4 hours into my hands. I'm sitting there screaming at like the Dickens. I had no idea what was going on. Finally, I read the comments on PickPals, and someone goes, put in some detergent, soak it a little bit in some mug, and then put in some detergent, and it'll slide right in. And sure enough, I was like, oh, could they not just put a piece of paper in there and just tell you to do that?
Yeah.
Oh, well, bastards. But no, yeah, it's a it's my one of my go-tos
Well,
if I'm picking a
so
lock for the first time. Yeah.
just a note for those listening: the 3-in-1 oil though will help preserve the metal on the pick.
Ooh, that is a good
So,
tip to know.
so
Yeah, I'm sure the soap detergent probably isn't very good for the long term.
well,
Probably
that's
doesn't
why
have
I mentioned it.
good to know.
So, in your journey, did you ever start or get involved in the whole belt ranking system?
Yeah, from the early days, I think actually, I kind of I knew about the subreddit of lock picking pretty early on because I use Reddit fairly often, and I found that, and I kind of read the belt system, and that got me really interested in kind of finding stuff. Because when I first started picking, I literally bought every uh, cheap thing you can find on Trade Me, which is like eBay in New Zealand, and I have so many shitty locks that some of them are so shitty I can't even open them just because they're that poorly made. So I finally kind of realized that that list of all the belt rankings is super helpful for a beginner to
Oh
know
yeah,
what to buy,
definitely.
what to look for. So I really enjoyed that, and I think I picked my because I got the training set from Sparrows as well, which I wouldn't recommend to be honest, the training locks, but
No,
I
not
did buy
really.
those. Yeah, you get through them, you burn through them so quickly. But I think I opened one on the first day, and first day I had them on, and I took a picture and I said, "What white belt, please?" And it was rewarding. I knew it was kind of kind of a little bit of a gimmick, but it did feel good. And everyone go, congratulations and stuff. And soon after, I found the Discord because the Reddit I didn't quite enjoy as much. It wasn't as active, I should say.
Mhm.
And then finally through that, enjoying the belt system. I got up to purple belt.
Yep.
Um, and I see at this point, I'm feeling fairly comfortable with where I'm at. Not that I don't have higher ranks and higher belts in my to pick list, um, but I think some of the requirements, and not to bash the system, I know it exists for a reason, but some of the requirements I'm just not as keen in fulfilling or feel like is in the same kind of interest or wheelhouse. So
Sure.
I'm at the point where I'm going to pick what I pick, and if one day I look and say I got the requirements for it, good, but I'm not chasing the belts as much these days, I should say.
Yeah, I kind of hit purple and decided to take a break from that for a while. And obviously, running this channel and the interviews and everything else I do, producing content, it's not a whole lot of time. But I
Yep.
have the locks. Just gotta get the time to sit down with them. So
Yep. I've noticed that once you get, I think purple is really, really where it starts to ramp up, and then it
it
just,
does. Yeah.
doubles and just doubles and doubles for each thing. So some of these locks were, purple, it took me like, a week to research, and some of these I'm a week in, and I still don't even know how they work. Some of these black belts,
Yeah.
I'm like, it's it gets trickier, and you got to put a lot of time into it. And I got 3 jobs at the moment, so I don't have much time.
So to get blue belt though, you had to make a challenge lock. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, it was I I really love challenge locks. I think it is one of the coolest things of the community that, for the most part, someone might ask you for shipping, but for the most part, people just send you a lock that they made or that they have someone else made. And, sometimes you hear these really famous ones. Like I got one from Den Brass right now. Den Brass. I'm not actually sure how to pronounce his name. I think it might be Dutch. But it's just one of the coolest locks in the world. And it took me probably a week to figure out how to open it. And I felt bad because my recording I did of it, I opened it in about a minute. But that was after about probably 6 hours of trying, and that was just the quick take. But yeah, back to the question. So I really enjoy the challenge locks, but when I came time to make mine, I wasn't as enthusiastic. I just it's I don't really have the skills that I can barely. If I draw a stick figure, it looks like it stepped on a landmine. Like I'm just not a very artistic person or a very craftsman
Gotcha.
person. So I see why it's important to have that and that thing and join the community and how
Sure.
it's important. But yeah, I didn't really enjoy making it. Oh God, I keep dropping the exit. Howdy, y'all. Oh, here we go. Didn't really enjoy making it, so I really just did the bare bone, the basics. I should say basics. I don't want to think bare
I,
bones that had anything to do with it because it was a shitty challenge lock, and that one was all on me. But it was very quickly done with just a file and a vise, and it was
I,
HV Logic has a video of him gutting it and picking it, so you can see the disaster it was. But it was good enough to meet the requirements and get the belt, so I guess that was it. But I don't see myself making another challenge lock anytime soon, at least.
I think, this is my feeling, is having to do that as a requirement does one of two things for you, maybe both. One, it may get you interested in making them.
Yep.
Because I know a lot of people, that's their first exposure to making a challenge lock, and then they decide after that they like it. And then the other
Yep.
side of it is, it definitely, when you see how much work goes into making them, you can then better appreciate the challenge locks you do get from other people to solve. So, all right. So, going to be wrapping up. So I'm going to ask you the last question here. You mentioned before a little bit about your experience in the lock sport community. What can you tell me more about what your experience has been like overall in the lock sport community?
Oh, oh my gosh, it's been life changing, to be quite honest. The people that I've met
Agreed.
are just so amazing, and like literally, I hope they stick. When some of these people kind of go disappeared for a while, I actually get kind of worried. I'm like, hey, is that person okay? It's not. It's so much more of a personal connection than other online communities. And the one thing I've noticed, especially the Australasian community and the LPU community, is how welcoming they are and how much they do not tolerate any bull from no transphobia, no racism, no sexism, anything like that. And that's rare and hard to find on a lot of online communities. So
they don't tolerate they don't tolerate trolling.
Yeah, which can be a little bit of trouble for me because I can be a little bit of a troll sometimes, but not in that way. At least I'm not a hateful hacker. Or at least I hope I've never upset anybody for real. But yeah, it's so much more peaceful, and you can go there and just joke around and we'll talk about things and just kind of joke. And then we'll also go, okay, also there's this section where we can talk about locks, so we both get to know each other. I know more people's pets from the LPU system than I know the names of my neighbors' pets. Like I'm like, how's Mia doing? How's they doing? It's just great, and it just makes my day.
Yeah.
I probably check it probably far more than I should, to be honest, as busy as I am. But it is kind of a good escape.
Right there with you. So before we wrap up, is there anything you'd like to say to our audience?
I'd just like to say, everybody, be excellent to each other and be good people. And just if you're interested in picking locks, go do the thing. Go online, find the lockpick community, or find LPU on Discord, and be open to advice. That's the one final thing, because there's so many people come on and ask a question and they get angry at the answer. It's like there's a reason that these people know what they're talking about. But yeah, if you're interested, check it out, and trust me, I think you will have a great time doing it. Even if you only pick one lock, it's such a good rush and of adrenaline, and I think it's a bit addicting once you get your first open.
Yep.
But yeah.
Yep. Okay. This has been great. I've enjoyed talking to you and getting to know you in this interview. With that, we're going to wrap this up. Thank you for listening. For our audience, if you are currently a subscriber, thank you. If you are not yet a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button, hit like on the video, and turn on notifications all so you can be made aware of new content like this, as well as the giveaways and drawings that I do on this channel. And with that, thank you for tuning in.